Welcome to clickmyproject.com. Let me discuss about who, when, where Timeslot assignment to mobile clients.
In Timeslot assignment, the mobile clients perform based on the parallel machine scheduling. The schedule will be done based on release time and deadlines. The client may receive and send data during online and offline. The data are assigned to different machines at different release times. It may possibly handle all the clients who want to transmit the data at any time. It overcomes the bottleneck problem because the data will transfer the destination whether if it is online or offline. In data flow, first we going to generate the node. After we generating the node, to find the path among the nodes using shortest path, and then to find the base station, which is determined based on the battery level, and then to get the status of the base station, whether if it is online or offline. If it is online means to find the neighbor node for the source node, and then to generate the data packet for the source node, and then from the source node it transmit to the neighbor node, and from the neighbor node the message packet has to send to the destination and then to stop. If it is the status of the base station is offline means first we have to generate the data queue for the base station from that, and then to find the neighbor node for the source node, and then to generate the messages. After that the message has to transmit it to the neighbor node from the source node. From that neighbor node we going to send to the destination like a base station. After that to stop the process.
Let me start the execution of the program. First we going to start here. We going to generate the sensor node. After that the node has to be generated here, and then the connection. Here it shows the message box like possible ways are assigned, which means it using the shortest path. So the possible ways are assigned among the sensor nodes, and then here we going to select the base station. The base station color has to be changed, and then the string has to be written as a base station. After that here we just view the connection, and then here we going to select the base station again, and then in base station first we getting the number of sensor nodes and the energy level and the base station height. After that we selecting the any one of the status, whether if it is online or offline. Here we selecting the status as online means here we clicking the button as send status. The status has to be sent to the sensor nodes, and then here we selecting the any one of the sensor node. Here we selecting the first node, and then click the select sensor node, and then it shows the battery level and the selected sensor node names, and here we clicking the attached file. Here the message has to be written as a file, and we have to select that file. After that we importing here, it shows the file name and the file size, and then getting the status. Here it shows the message box like space station is online, and then here we clicking the schedule. This sensor node job will be scheduled. It sent to the scheduled. The same thing has to be followed for the next sensor node. Here we selecting the remaining sensor node, and select this button select sensor node, and it shows the battery level and the selected sensor node name, and then click the attach file. Here we going to select the message file which is in the appropriate path. After that it shows the size and the name of the file, and then getting the status, and then scheduling. The sensor node job will be scheduled. The same thing has to be followed for the sensor node 3, and then clicking the schedule. After that here we going to select the sensor node 4. After giving all the details, and then the last node has to be selected here, which is sensor node 5, and then select sensor node, and then attach the file. After that getting the status, and then scheduling. The last node has to be also be scheduled. After that we getting the neighbor node for each sensor node. Here we based on shortest path to find the neighbor node, and then here we selecting any one of the neighbor sensor node, and then here click the neighbor node construct. The neighbor node for the sensor node 2 is sensor node 1, and then the same manner we going to construct the neighbor node for each node. After constructing the neighbor node, here we going to scheduling the sensor node jobs. Here just we clicking the scheduled sensor node jobs are scheduled. After that The jobs are scheduled. It's allocated in the scheduled manner. After that, we clicking the validate button. The messages are ready to transmit. This message box has to be shown here. The neighbor node has to be validated here. Here the sensor node 4 is the scheduled sensor node and the neighbor node is the sensor node 6. And then here we going to select any one of the scheduled node. Here we just clicking the received button. Here we select any one of the sensor node. Here we selecting the sensor node like 4 means in that we going to choose the file here to attach the sense node data. After that, here we going to select the appropriate file, which is like after attach the file. Here we click the destination. The destinations receive the messages and then the request has to be sent. The request has to send to the first adjacent node. Here the message has to send to the neighbor node and then it's sent to the destination. In neighbor node, first we click the receive button. Here the request has to be received here. It received the node name and the file path and the file content. These things has to be received here and then get the status. It received the base station status also and then we click the send to destination. The request, this message has to send to the base station. From the destination side, we just click the received source details. The request has to be received here and then from the neighbor node side, it shows the message box like a request sent to the base station. Afterwards, the details about the source node and the intermediate node has to be received here and also the file name and the date and time for the data received and then the source details. After that, here the source message has to be received to the destination. Here it shows the message box like received request. The message has to be received by the source using this neighbor node. The neighbor node act like a intermediate node. Here the source node is the sensor node 4 and the intermediate node is the sensor node 6. The destination is the base station. It receives the details about the source node and the source messages also. And then in this way the source send the messages to the destination whether if it is online and the offline. So it avoids the waiting time and the data loss and the bottleneck problem also. Thank you.